Welcome back to another video. So today we are back to review the new Chainsaw Man chapter 143. I'm doing this a little later than I normally do because I was out of town doing something for my girlfriend, so I was busy and stuff like that. But now I am back in town and I'm back to get back on the YouTube grind, especially with everything happening. But anyway, I want to talk about this chapter because this chapter definitely like blew me away. Just the twist in this chapter was just so crazy. What's gonna happen now? I have no idea what's gonna happen now because I was really thinking that it was gonna be Chainsaw Man versus the hybrids, and then that just got blown out the door. And that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. We're gonna get into it. So let's start off with the beginning of the chapter. So the beginning of the chapter shows the three hybrids, the sword devil, the spear devil, and the whip devil talking to each other. I think this is the spear devil, where he's like, listen up children, our orders are to make the humans scream as loudly as possible as we kill them. We'll target women and children. Higher voices, better screams. My suggestion is to go for the limbs. Makes the sense of loss immediately visible. And then Sugo's like the limbs. And then the whip devil was like, did you just call me a child? I'll be 82 this year, show some respect. I don't know if she's capping or if she's being honest, if she's actually like gonna turn 82 and her being a hybrid makes her look young. Because if that's the case, that just means that all hybrids don't really age, or she could be capping. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say for now that she's not capping, and if that's the case, then hybrids don't really age after they become a hybrid, which would make sense, you know, like they have heightened regeneration, so it makes sense why they wouldn't really age. So that's definitely like a nice fact to know. And Sugo's like confused by the whole statement, like wondering like, yo, are you actually like an old hag? Because Sugo's definitely like 19 or something. He's not like anywhere close to being 82, so he's very surprised by that. And even like the whip devil says, I'm eternally young and tough as nails, I'll never die, I'm a superior human specimen, I believe I was chosen by God. And then the speed hybrid goes back and says like, yeah, like fair enough, like this whole thing is just a message from God for us to do, and it really makes us sound like true believers. And Sugo is like looking at them, and just like you could obviously see the sweat on his face, like he really doesn't want to do this, but then he thinks to himself like, yo, this is a message from God, I'm just doing my duty as a weapon, and I just need to do this for a little bit and then we're done. And we see that they're both about to transform, all three of them, right? And as soon as they're about to transform, right when it hits 5 o'clock, they get fucking ambushed by Quan Chi. Quan Chi's officially back in Chainsaw Man, which we have not seen her ever since the end of part 1, where she's taken over by Makima. And so we finally get to see her, and it was just so crazy because a few videos ago I was saying how Quan Chi's definitely not part of the Chainsaw Man church because we already saw her already. I wasn't expecting to see her now, and then we even learned like what she's been up to ever since she's been back to being normal. And so she ambushes all three of them and knocks them out. Like Quan Chi's so smart, right? And this just tells you that she was like training with Kishibe and stuff like that, which I'm gonna talk more about Kishibe at the end of this video. But like you can tell like she's just so good at fighting anybody, especially hybrids, because she knew where all of their like releases are, because every single hybrid has a release. Like for Quan Chi, her release is inside her eye. For Sugo, her release is on his arm, and I think for the spear devil, his release is on the back of his neck, and then the whip devil's release was on also her arm, I believe, or like she was gonna snap and like that would change her. So she knew like all of them, how they were gonna transform, and she immediately disengaged them from transforming. The only one that was able to transform was Sugo, because Sugo transforming just requires him to take off his hand, kind of like Katana Man back in part 1. Like I don't know if I remember, but Katana Man would like transform by also taking off his hand. So Sugo and Katana Man definitely have some similarities. Quan Chi like ends up cooking everybody, like all of them are like falling apart, all their body pieces, and Sugo's the only one that was actually able to transform. And we actually get to see it more in like his form in more of a broader sense, like in a bigger scale. Like he gets the whole like page to himself, which is really, really nice to see. And it looks cool. Like he's really similar to Katana Man. He has one sword that's like super huge on his right arm, and then on his left arm is like a more slender sword. We are seeing him, we're like, oh shit, like he's gonna be able to stand up with Quan Chi, about to fight her. And then Quan Chi just one-shots him, bro, with like one sword, just cuts off both his arms and his head off. Ends up incapacitating everybody there. And all the children and women in the store start running. And Quan Chi just looking at the mess she made. And then she even sees like this little kid on the floor crying. And she even like scares the little kid to like run away. And the kid runs away. And then Quan Chi and tells the people that she got them. And then a police officer's like, target suppression confirmed, prepare to send in Special Division 7 20 minutes after the media coverage. The media coverage happens, and the news anchor is like, this just in, multiple gunmen opened fire inside a department store today. The shooters were Chainsaw Man church followers. The death toll is unconfirmed at this time. However, the police and the National Devil Extermination Public Safety Commission have announced their plans to take swift action in response to the emerging possibility of Chainsaw Man church terrorist activities. So one, This confirms a lot. One, Quan Chi is working with the public safety division, the one we're from part 1 with Makima, with Kishibe, and this can kind of explain what happened after part 1. Where after part 1, I believe that after Quan Chi got like her own free will back, I believe she decided to actually go work with Kishibe in public safety and decided to go back there. Because remember back then, a long time ago, Kishibe and Quan Chi used to be like partners, and I'm assuming that they split apart because Quan Chi didn't want to follow the public safety anymore and also didn't want to follow Makima because she already knew that Makima was not like who she says to be. And so now that Makima's gone and public safety is definitely going to be better and be more maybe for the people, like actually more not corrupt, I think that's why she's working back with public safety. And also because everyone she cares about is dead also, like all her like women from part 1 are dead, maybe so far, like, or they're like in hell, so they haven't popped back up in the world, so she has like no like relationships with like her women and stuff like that, and so all she has is basically Kishibe. So I think that's why she's back working at public safety. But we haven't seen Kishibe yet at all in part 2 yet, so we might see him soon, especially because Quan Chi's back. But this was just definitely like the biggest twist that I wasn't expecting at all. And like this chapter, I was expecting Denji to get ready to fight the hybrids and Asa to show up, and it's just crazy that that's not happening at all. But the next thing that's gonna happen is actually gonna be a raid by the public safety on the Chainsaw Man Church. And so we cut away to the Chainsaw Man Church, and it's like this older guy that's like, they'll search the building. If they find the weapons in the basement, we could be charged with treason. And then Nabana's there, which is like Kobani's brother, and he's like, weapons? And then Haruka's like, which we haven't seen Haruka in a minute. So Haruka's like, no one ever told me we had weapons. Like, what is going on? And then the old man's like, gather all combat trained followers outside the prayer room right now. And then Haruka's like, bro, what is happening? And then the old man's like, I don't know a thing. I never heard a word about it. And you never did either, right, founder? And that's where the chapter ends. The Chainsaw Man Church is preparing for the raid that the public safety is about to commence on the Chainsaw Man Church, gathering all of the school kids around to basically prepare to fight public safety. And that's where the chapter ends off. So that was definitely like, this chapter was definitely crazy because I wasn't expecting Quan Chi at all. But I already talked about Quan Chi, basically what I think about Quan Chi. I want to talk about what I think is going to happen next. So this chapter, we didn't see Denji, Naita, Asa, or Barum, and Fumiko, right? So I think whatever happened with Fumiko, Denji, Asa, and not Asa, but everything that happened with that side of the group, Denji's group, I think is happening coinciding with what happened with Quan Chi. So the whole Quan Chi thing happened, and we're seeing it from her perspective, but we're not seeing it from Denji's perspective. I don't think Denji is going to fight the hybrids anymore. He's gonna fight just Barum. Barum's definitely like his enemy and the one that's targeting him right now. And I would not be surprised if Barum like uses Naita as like basically like a hostage. And that's why Denji has to fight, because he has to save Naita. And now Denji's not being put in a situation where he has to save Naita, Fumiko, and also all the children and women that were inside the store at the amusement park. So that was definitely very, very surprising. And I would not be surprised if like soon, because we're going to be seeing the public safety basically raid the Chainsaw Man Church, I would not be surprised if we see the fake Chainsaw Man actually like fight public safety for the first time. And it's gonna be so sick, because now that Quan Chi's back, I don't see how the Chainsaw Man Church even like does anything worthwhile, like be able to stand up against like, you know, Denji, and Asa's probably gonna revolt against them, Denji, Asa, and Quan Chi. But then again, there's still Fami, and Fami's probably stronger than all three of them right now, so we don't know. But this chapter was just so crazy. I'm so excited. We get a chapter again on Tuesday. We don't have to wait a 2-week break, so I'm very, very excited. But I think that's everything I want to say about this video. Thank you guys for watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe to see more content like this, and hit that bell. I post it consistently. And this is just the first video of like the 2 other videos I gotta make, because I forgot JoJo Lands came out, and also I gotta cover Jujutsu Kaisen and basically make my video going over the stuff that happened. I'm not gonna spoil in this video, but just like it's over, bro. It's so over. But I'm gonna see you guys next time. Peace.